Hello. So now we're going to discuss the frog kit. I like to call it a frog kit because everyone gets so excited about the frog that the students actually get to dissect. And if you're like me, you didn't dissect anything until you were in high school or maybe middle school in the seventh grade. But we want to get our students engaged in life science and all aspects of science at an early age. And so I do this with my 3, 4, and 5 year olds, and you can too. So with the frog dissection, I like to do this in small group. It's not necessary for each student to have their own frog because we really want them to have a meaningful experience. So you need to take time to label each of the parts with them and to check their understanding. I like to do this in a small group of no more than 5 to 6 students. We call this our frog kit, but really it's life cycle. So it's a good complement to whatever curriculum you're using, even if you're studying like the life cycle of a butterfly, life cycle of a chicken, life cycle of a plant. You can also do an extension of that and actually do life cycle of a frog. So I hope that you have your frog kit. Whenever I develop a kit, I always want to make certain that we are covering language and literacy. So you can look in your school library to see what books you have about life cycle or about frog. This is one of my favorite books that I have because it expands and it actually talks about the entire metamorphosis of a frog. And so it's a really good illustration. So I put different books in there. It may not be this one. I like to support different authors and also have a variety, but there will always be a book that you can read to the students to get additional background information. So let's get down to the good part. So if you're anything like me, you're like, "Whoa, it's been a long time since I did that." Have no fear. Again, our goal is to make STEM easy and fun and simple for you to do and to save you some time. So here's your cheat sheet, and it actually goes over all of the frog life cycle vocabulary so that you can get familiar with those terms before you actually have to do it in front of your students. So it gives you the confidence that you need to actually sound like you're smarter than your students. You'll also get your frog experiment instructions, so it'll tell you exactly what you need to do. It will also give you a template of the body parts. So when you actually dissect the frog, and I always tell the kids to say dissects because I do want to use the technical term, but I also just let them know that dissect just means to cut apart. Dissect means to cut apart. So pretty much we're going to go inside of here. I'm not going to open this one. I'm just demoing it because I don't want to ruin it. But you actually will just take some scissors to like pull the plastic off. And you can actually take out all of his organs. You can see on both sides. So he actually has all of these different organs inside that your students will be able to dissect. Of course, you want to make sure they have their goggles on, their glasses on, so that they actually feel like real scientists when they get ready to dissect or do surgery on Mr. Froggy here. This is the dissected solution. So it's going to come with 2 dissected solutions so you can actually put the frog back together, mix the mixture with water, and then repeat the activity. And then once you've done it for twice, you can use Jello if you want to, or if you have a student that may need some accommodations, you could actually use Jello if they're still at the age to where they're mouthing things. So that's a safer way for you to still do this experiment with those students as well. And if you have students that are bilingual, you just want to make certain that you're using that student's native language when you're actually explaining the body parts or the different organs. So pretty much once you go inside, like when you take out the lower jaw, you're going to put it here. The brains and eyes are going to go here. Ribs and arm are going to go here. And it actually matches up to the patterns. So that is our frog dissection kit. I also like these little lifestyle figurines. You may have something similar to this already in your classroom. If you don't, this is another good addition. So as you're planning your lesson, start thinking of the things you already have and put it all together. So when you get ready to discuss the life cycle with your students, all your things are in one nice, neat little place. One of the things that I do provide is inside of the box. So I'll supply you with a little frog, little drawstring bag, so you can put all of your life cycle goodies in there. Does not have to be all frog, but anything dealing with life cycle, because again, the frog life cycle is just an extension of one of our core standards that we have to address with our students. So everything you're going to do, if it can fit in here, put it in here. If it's nice, neatly together, put it on the shelf after you're done with it, and then pull it out next year when you're doing your planning for that particular activity. So I hope you enjoy dissecting with your students. Again, it's a fun, simple way to do it. And for those of you that get grossed out really easily, this should not gross you out, right? And if you get your students engaged in this, early, then they will learn to actually love experimenting hands on, and hopefully we can produce some of the next biomedical engineers or chemists or surgeons because we've exposed them to dissection at an early age. Be sure to reach out to me if you have any questions or to share anything with me. You can tag me on social media at Little STEM Academy. You can also send me an email at info@littlestemacademy.com. I'm LJ Henderson, your Gem of STEM. I hope you enjoyed learning about our frog lab kit.